They thought she was an easy target. But before they could finish her, she gave them one last warning. My husband isn't just a billionaire, he's a ruthless monster. At the very start of the movie, we're introduced to a man named Arthur. Arthur is the CEO of PSM Pharmaceuticals, rich, powerful, and used to getting whatever he wants. But right now, the entire world is coming after him. His company recently launched a new drug, and that drug has killed 268 people. That's not a small number. That's a disaster. Lawsuits are piling up from every direction. The main accusation against Arthur is that he submitted a fake clinical report just to get his drug approved by the government, putting money above human lives. But here's the thing, when the Food Administration Department checked the reports, they didn't find anything wrong. So technically, Arthur is still in the clear. And he knows it. Arthur isn't losing any sleep over this. In fact, while the whole world is screaming for justice outside his door, Arthur is inside having a great time with his young girlfriend, Emily. He's completely relaxed because he knows his legal team can make this case disappear. But Emily, she's not happy at all. She tells Arthur she wants to leave town for a few days, just get away, breathe some fresh air. Arthur immediately shuts her down. She's not going anywhere. That one moment, that one refusal, is what sets off this entire story. Emily is furious. She's tired of being controlled by this man. Arthur doesn't notice or doesn't care. He heads back to his office and spends the rest of the day giving orders to his legal team, get this case dismissed, fast. But when Arthur comes home that evening, the house is dead silent. Emily is gone. All her things, gone. Then a message comes in from an unknown number. Someone has kidnapped Emily and is demanding a ransom. Arthur is shaken. He immediately calls in a private investigation team to handle it. The investigators hear everything and strongly recommend bringing in the FBI or the police. Arthur refuses. He wants to deal with this himself, quietly. So the investigators agree to stay back and watch from a distance while Arthur handles it alone. Arthur gets the ransom money together and heads to an art gallery, the location the kidnapper specified for the exchange. He walks in, looks around, starts waiting. Then a man walks up to him and starts talking about making a deal. Arthur snaps. He grabs this man and attacks him, only to realize he just assaulted the gallery owner, who was simply trying to sell him the painting on the wall. The actual kidnapper never showed up. He was standing Arthur up the whole time, making a fool out of him. And this is where the movie takes us back, one full week earlier. Because this is where everything truly begins. We now meet Ben Cahill, a lawyer at a well-known firm. Ben is smart, driven, and good at his job. But his personal life is a mess. His wife Charlotte is a nurse who's been pulling double shifts lately, and she's clearly been pulling away from Ben emotionally too. Their marriage is quietly falling apart, and Ben doesn't know how to fix it. Ben's closest friend at the firm sits him down and gives him some real advice. Take a break, focus on Charlotte, go on a trip together, do something before it's too late. But Ben brushes it off and buries himself in work instead. Then one day, out of nowhere, a friend request pops up on his phone. It's from Emily, his ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago. Without even thinking, Ben accepts it. His friend immediately starts warning him. Stay away from her, he says. Beautiful women don't reach out to married men just to catch up. She's going to cause problems. She'll wreck your marriage. Ben doesn't listen. He goes to meet Emily in person. When they see each other, it feels warm at first. They laugh, talk about old times, catch up on everything they've missed. Ben mentions his married life. Emily's reaction is very telling. She's clearly jealous. Her own relationship with Arthur is making her miserable. He's possessive. He's controlling. He treats her like property. But then Emily says something that makes Ben sit up straight. She tells Ben that Arthur submitted a fake clinical report to get his drug approved, and she has the real one. Now Ben is all ears. Emily takes him back to her apartment, copies all the real clinical data onto a flash drive, and hands it to Ben. Ben's mind is already running through the possibilities. This is powerful evidence. But he also immediately sees the danger. If Arthur figures out that this data came from Emily's personal system, both Emily and Ben could find themselves in serious trouble. Emily already knows the risk. And she doesn't care. Her plan is simple. If Ben files a case against Arthur using this data, Arthur will be so buried in legal problems that he won't have time to watch her. That gives her the window she needs to disappear and start over. This is her escape plan, and Ben is the key to it. But Ben hesitates. So, Emily decides to push him a little harder. She turns on the charm, and the situation quickly becomes something it never should have been. That night, Ben crosses a line he can't uncross. The next morning, Ben walks into his boss Charles's office and pitches the idea of filing a civil lawsuit against Arthur. Charles immediately pumps the brakes. He tells Ben very clearly, Arthur is not the kind of man you want to go after. He has unlimited resources, an army of lawyers, and a long memory. Even if you win in court, he will come after your career, your reputation, your family. Ben listens patiently, and then reveals he has the real clinical report. That changes things. Charles's eyes light up. He gives Ben the green light to move forward. Ben's best friend hears about it and is not happy at all. He pulls Ben aside and begs him to walk away. Arthur will not play fair, he says. He'll go after you and Charlotte both. This case isn't worth it. But Ben is already locked in. He's not backing down. That evening, Ben takes Charlotte out to a club. He's trying to be present, trying to reconnect, trying to fix things between them. But the night goes sideways fast. A man corners Ben near the bar and leans in close. His voice is calm, but his message is anything but, drop the case against Arthur, or you and your wife will not be safe. Then he walks away like nothing happened. Ben keeps it together on the outside, but inside he's rattled. This man had the look of a professional. Someone hired to deliver a very specific warning. But Ben refuses to let fear make his decisions for him. He shakes it off and goes to find Charlotte. What he sees next stops him cold. Charlotte is standing there having a conversation with Emily. Ben reads the situation immediately. Emily is sending him a message loud and clear. I did my part. Now you do yours. Ben is now completely cornered. If he pushes forward with the case, Arthur is going to come after him. If he drops the case, Emily is going to blow up his marriage. There's no clean way out. He goes home that night feeling trapped. Now here's something important that's happening behind the scenes. Emily quietly hires someone to physically hurt her, and then takes photos of herself bruised and injured. Those are the photos she used to stage her own kidnapping. There was no real abductor. The entire kidnapping story was Emily's plan all along, a way to put enough fear into Arthur that she could slip away from him for good. Meanwhile, back at the firm, Charles keeps pushing Ben to stay focused. They have solid evidence, Ben tells him. The case is strong. They're going to win. But Arthur's legal team is already firing back with everything they've got. Then one evening, Ben goes to Emily's apartment to go over some case details, and walks in to find her dead. The room is arranged to look like a suicide. But Ben knows right away. This was not a suicide. Someone got to her. Ben completely panics. Instead of calling the police, he drives straight home and tells Charlotte everything. The secret meetups, the evidence, the whole story. Charlotte is furious. Ben was hoping for some understanding, but Charlotte is not having it. Still, something about the way she reacts feels strange. Like she already knows something. Like she's hiding something. We'll come back to that. Ben immediately calls his hacker contact and gets Emily's social media accounts deleted so no digital trail connects the two of them. But things are already spiraling out of control. The next day, Arthur himself walks into a conference room at Ben's firm. He's composed, confident, and ready to make a deal. He wants to settle this privately. No courtroom drama, no headlines. Ben listens carefully and reads between every line. Arthur clearly knows about Emily. If Ben doesn't cooperate, Arthur will use Emily's death to destroy him completely. Ben agrees to the settlement. Arthur puts $400 million on the table. $300 million goes to the families of the victims whose lives were taken by the drug. The remaining $100 million goes directly to Ben's firm. The deal is done. Everyone shakes hands. Ben heads home feeling completely empty inside. He walks through his front door, and his entire world collapses. Emily's dead body is lying in his bed. Someone has planted it there. The room is carefully set up to make Ben look guilty. And before he even has a chance to think, there's a knock at the door. The police have arrived. Ben runs. He slips out before they can get to him and leaves the scene behind. Just like that, Ben Cahill is now the #1 suspect in a murder case. Ben throws on a hoodie and disappears to his best friend's place. His friend takes one look at him and says exactly what Ben knew he'd say. I warned you from the beginning. His friend hands him a gun and tells him to leave the city. Get out now while he still can. Ben takes the gun. But instead of running, he goes straight to Arthur's house and presses that gun right against him. Ben lays out his terms. He'll hand over all the evidence he got from Emily. In exchange, Arthur drops everything against him. Arthur listens calmly. Then he smiles. And he says something that genuinely catches Ben off guard. He tells Ben he didn't kill Emily. And he never sent anyone to threaten him at that club. Arthur tells Ben he actually loved Emily. The entire $400 million settlement? That wasn't because of Ben's case. It was because of Emily. Arthur says plainly, if I wanted you destroyed, you'd already be gone. You and Charlotte both. Ben walks out of there more confused and more scared than before. If Arthur didn't do this, then who did? Ben doesn't have to wonder for long. The same man who threatened him at the club finds him first. He takes Ben down fast and easy. Ben never stood a chance. When he wakes up, he's inside a church. And sitting across from him, also taken, is Charlotte. The assassin grabbed her too. Ben demands answers. Why did you kill Emily? The assassin is completely calm when he responds. He says he didn't kill Emily. He only moved her body to Ben's house and set the scene to frame him. But here's what makes Ben's blood run cold. The entire time the assassin is talking, he keeps looking at Charlotte. Like she's the piece of this puzzle Ben hasn't solved yet. Then, without any warning, the assassin drives a knife into Charlotte's shoulder. Charlotte screams. And something in Ben completely breaks loose. The moment the assassin is slightly off guard, Ben launches himself at him. What follows is a raw, brutal, desperate fight. Ben takes a beating. But somehow, he overpowers the assassin and finishes it. He grabs Charlotte and rushes her to the nearest hospital. The second he spots a police officer near the entrance, he slips out before anyone can identify him. He calls his hacker friend and tells him about a laptop he found on the assassin, full of encrypted files that could answer everything. His friend is nervous. Ben pushes. The hacker gets to work. And when those files are cracked open, everything changes. The person behind all of this is not Arthur Dennings. It's Charles, Ben's own boss. The man who approved the case. The man who cheered Ben on. The man who acted like his biggest supporter from day one. Charles has been secretly on Arthur's payroll for years, quietly losing cases on purpose, making sure Arthur stayed untouchable. When Ben showed up with real evidence that could actually stick, Charles got scared. So he decided to take Ben out of the picture permanently. Ben walks into Charles's office with everything. The evidence, the encrypted files, the full picture. He looks Charles dead in the eye and lays it all out. Charles tries to play confused. He says he never had Emily killed. He only framed Ben. But Ben doesn't buy a word of it. He tells Charles he took down the assassin. He has the files. And every single piece of evidence has already been handed over to the police. Charles has nowhere to go. Within minutes, officers arrive at the office to take him in. But Charles is not going to prison. He sees his moment, grabs an officer's weapon, and pulls the trigger on himself. Right there in his office. He's gone before anyone can do anything. With Charles out of the picture and all the evidence on record, every charge against Ben is officially dropped. He's a free man. He starts packing his things, ready to finally put this nightmare behind him and move on with his life. Then he picks up one of Charlotte's jackets and stops dead. He recognizes the perfume on it. It's Emily's scent. Ben walks straight to Charlotte and asks her directly, "Why does your jacket smell like Emily's perfume?" Charlotte doesn't look away. She doesn't lie. She sits down and tells him exactly what happened. She says she found out about Ben and Emily on the very first day. Not weeks later, the first day. She went to confront Emily herself. The two of them argued. During that argument, Emily was intoxicated and lost her balance. She fell and hit her head hard. She was dying right there in front of Charlotte. Charlotte made a decision in that moment. She didn't call for help. She didn't try to save her. Instead, she carefully arranged the scene to make it look like a suicide. She planted fake evidence all around to make sure no investigator would ever look twice at her. And then she walked away and never said a word. Ben stands there in complete silence. He's furious. He's devastated. He's exhausted beyond words. But in the end, Ben makes his choice. He forgives her. Not because what Charlotte did was right, but because he's already lost too much. He doesn't want to lose his marriage too, not over someone who is no longer here. And with that decision, the movie comes to a close. Nobody in this story was innocent. Not Arthur. Not Emily. Not Charles. Not Ben. And not Charlotte.